In this video, I'm going to show you how you build a 100% automated RAG chatbot based off any data on the internet. Specifically, I'm going to first of all show you how you can scrape data automatically, whether that's YouTube videos, which we're going to do as an example in this video, could be any website on the planet or social media or even your own data, how we automatically cleanse that data and get it into a consistent format for us to use. Then how we do something called vectorization and store all of that data in an app called Pinecone. So that pretty much at the end of the video, what you'll be able to do is get this completely, phenomenal chatbot that you can ask any questions to, and it'll be able to query the entire database and give you an answer. For example, I could say something like, hey, I know which video of Jack's should I watch if I want to learn about AI language translation. And look at all those typos, but it doesn't really matter because it will be able to pick it up anyway. And then we'll just hit enter like so. This then sends off this automation that we've got running in the background, which is this one right here. It comes through, it's sent through via webhook, and if I come back over, it'll say, hey, based on it, you should go and watch this one here. We open it up, and there's the recommendation. I'm going to start this video by giving a very brief overview of what it is, why we use it, how it works, and then after that, I'll show you exactly how you can replicate these three scenarios so you can do the exact same thing for yourself on autopilot. So if you're very familiar with RAG and everything we're doing, feel free to skip this section. So then let's look at what RAG is and when we might use it. And this chart here might be quite helpful. So let's start off with when should you use it versus like an OpenAI assistant. Now you'll know that you can add documents to OpenAI assistant, but it's only good for a certain volume. And the method of retrieving the information with RAG and Pinecone, for instance, versus a ChatGPT assistant is very different. I believe ChatGPT assistants just add that text to the prompt, but when the information gets massive, we want to be a little bit more, we can be more savvy about how we get it. And we do that by splitting. Let's say we gave it something with like 1 million pages, right? This is where RAG would be amazing because what it will do is split all that into chunks. We call it an embedding process. And imagine like a gigantic, a gigantic bookcase. Like maybe this one down here, okay? And what it does is every single piece of chunk, every single piece of text, let's say we divide it into 10 million chunks, we give it an embedding, like a vector, which is a string of numbers which is created by, in our automation here, OpenAI. And then when we ask it a question, it also embeds that question. And it says, well, look, based on this string of numbers, which books on this bookshelf are going to be the most relevant for you. So instead of looking through all 1 million books, instead it says, hey, this one, number 79 and number 232 are the most relevant. And we pull those data points through and then we add those to the automation, which it has a lot of different benefits and it's very different than OpenAI system. That's like a kind of like low level understanding. I'm not like an AI scientist, but that's how I sort of like visualize the difference. So when would you use OpenAI Assistant? You'd use that if it's shorter text. Whereas, for example, with this, it's not designed for direct text understanding, and it uses this process called embeddings, which I'll build on in the course of the video. And as you can see, the OpenAI Assistant's good for sort of basic retrieval, whereas with the Pinecone and the RAG system, it's more embeddings-based search. But the crucial difference is really the data set size and how many documents you're having. And if we're scraping an entire website, we may prefer to use this embeddings model and a RAG system rather than OpenAI Assistant, either because it just can't simply house that much information and we may get more reliable results from it. And crucially, guys, the most exciting thing about this is that we can dynamically update a data source. So the way that I've set this automation up, and even if I come here and show you, okay, if you look at this automation here, let's say that you and I have a website together, okay? Or let's say you and I have a business together, and we have in this business 1,000 documents about everything our business is about. Let's say we say, well, look, we need to change document 700. What we can do with this automation is the second we change document 700, this automation will trigger and upsert and update that vector in the database automatically, which means that once we set it and connect it to Google Drive, we never have to touch it. We almost automate at the top end this whole process where we upload the data and then it will update its memory automatically. Whereas with ChatGPT, you have to manually upload it and do a lot more manual action. So it gives us so much more to do. And with the size of data that I'm talking about here, this is really the clear choice for us. So let me run you through broadly what this automation looks like, and then we're going to go and build that afterwards, okay? So we're going to start by scraping data. Now in our automation, I'm going to use this Dark Arts toolkit here to scrape my YouTube channel and pull down, I don't know, say the last 15 videos. We're going to do that automatically, okay? Once we've scraped that down, we're going to cleanse it. Now, The reason you want to cleanse it is for a couple of different reasons. As you can see here, for example, maybe some documents from PDFs that you want to get it into a consistent text. Maybe it has characters. We've got to get it into a format that we can then, what we say, vectorize and put into our beautiful Pinecone, which you'll see down here, over here for storage purposes. So we're going to scrape the data, which could be anything, any website you want. I'll show you how you do it for websites as well. We're then going to cleanse it. So for example, maybe we want to add prompts to shorten the text length. Maybe we want to do something whereby we say, look, I don't want any of the fluff because I want it to be faster and more reliable. So we could say, hey, remove anything that isn't to do with this topic. So we can actually take what is ordinarily like 1,000 words down to like 200 words. So we have this prompt here in this Claude or ChatGPT module to cleanse it, to kind of collate it, to get it into a consistent format, to make it as short but highly effective as possible. And that's basically step one, is the scraping and cleansing, which is a scenario. Once that's done, we then move over to this one here, which is the embedding. Now, all of this here, guys, so in my case, it's going to scrape like 15, 20 YouTube videos. You could do 1,000 YouTube videos. The beauty of this, it doesn't matter. We can go as big as we want to, or website pages, for example. Now, the second that happens, this Google Drive module here is waiting patiently, and the second it sees a file has been added to that Google Drive, which is what this one did, and then says, hey, something's been added. We then download this file. We're going to use this app here called Dumpling, which will convert basically any file in Make into text. So we can get the file that we had in Make into plain text in the Make scenario. Once that's done, we're going to set some variables. I'll cover exactly what that looks like and why we do that in a moment. And then we use this OpenAI module to create an embedding, which takes that document and basically creates this. I'll even show you what that looks like. So if I come over here into this database in Pinecone, which is the only other new software we're going to be using in this automation. This is, for example, each one of these represents a video that I did earlier. Okay, so I look at this one, for example, I've added some metadata, which is excellent, which is the title of my video and the entire transcript that I've got there and a unique hash to it as well. Now, if I click on this, for example, all these values here, if I click on edit, this right here is the embedding. And this is like the kind of key, the matrix, how it understands what all of that information is about. So we create this thing called an embedding and we upsert or update the vector. So what the beautiful thing about this automation is we will do it initially, which will get all the vectors in Pinecone for us. And then once that's complete, if anything ever changes here, we can then just get that updated automatically. And that's basically how that works. And then we have the chatbot, which I showed you earlier here, this beautiful thing over here. And basically what happens is we ask it a question. This webhook grabs the question. Captain Search over here takes that question and translates it into a JSON format of kind of keywords and key identifiers that would be easy to search our database with. We then create an embedding for the question. So in just exactly the same way that we create an embedding for these documents, we do the same thing with the question. So the question gets converted into a long string of numbers, and based on the similarity of those numbers compared to the similarity of the numbers that we gave to the document, it will find out what it believes to be the most relevant ones for our query. So instead of looking at all the text, we say, look, of the 1,000 drawers we've got in this mystical bookcase, which ones are the most similar based on the number kind of secret that we've given it there. So then we get all the data that comes back out from it, and then we get this responder module, and then we send that straight back over to the chatbot, and then we get the answer. So if that doesn't make perfect sense yet, don't worry, it will do as we go through the process. It takes a couple of times just to wrap your head around what this stuff means, but the TLDR of it is that we can scrape any website on the planet, YouTube, anything, and create a conversational chatbot with it, which I think is a pretty cool thing. And in terms of the software we're going to use, obviously going to use make.com for the back-end automations. For the chatbot, we're going to use Card, which is a really cheap, really accessible drag and drop chat builder that we use. And then for the storage of the vectors, we're going to use Pinecone and integrate that into Make. My name's Jack, my school community and my YouTube channel, we're all about a couple of things. We're about the latest AI. We are about incredible automations, but most importantly, we are about the stuff that actually works. So if you haven't already, grab that coffee and let's dive straight in. And as always, guys, all the agents, the scenarios from this entire video are all available down below in my school community. So if you ever want to just upload it and have done with it, all you ever have to do is open a scenario, click more, click import blueprint, you choose the file, you select the file, click save, and the scenarios will populate automatically. And that's for everything that I cover on my YouTube channel and all the stuff that I've done. Now, in this video, we're going to build this one together. So we're going to start over here, and I built this I just wanted to try and visually present it in a way that would make it as easy as possible to understand. So we're going to start with scenario one. Scenario one's job is basically what I call the scrape the data and cleanse the data. And I'm going to show you two alternatives. One is going to be for YouTube videos, and the second one is going to be for any website that you like on the planet. Pretty cool, right? And by the way, the applications for this are ridiculous. We can build chatbots now on people's websites, like immediately. It's cool. All right, cool. So what does it look like? So what we're going to first of all do is we've got a brand new scenario over here. Okay, so we're going to call this one here one. We're going to call this one scrape and cleanse. So the first one I'm going to show you guys is with YouTube videos, and then I'll also show you an alternative, which is going to be for the websites. So I've got scrape and cleanse, and I'm going to put here build together. Now I am going to get over to one of our favorite websites ever, which is rss.app. rss.app and RSS feeds. If you're not familiar, I'll put a video on the screen so you can check it out. It's basically like I can give it anything I want to. I can create, if I wish, like let's say I click on new feed here, for instance, you can give it any YouTube channel, any website on the planet, and what it will basically do is create an RSS feed for that. So for example, if I go to my YouTube channel, which I've just landed on here, I copy my URL, for example, I can come back over, enter my URL here, for example, click on generate, and what this will do is create an RSS feed for me. And what that enables me to do is pull down every video on that YouTube channel that's ever been done. Do we like the look of it? We certainly do. We're gonna come down, we're gonna click save. This video is really cool, by the way, the automatic AI translation one. I really enjoyed that one. It's good. So it's so weird to hear yourself speak all these languages too. All right, cool. So let's come back over then to our automation here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add a new module. We're gonna put RSS feeds. Now you could do watch if you want to watch all subsequent ones, and you may wish to do that if you want to set this up in the future. So for example, then every time I upload a video, I'm going to add this to my knowledge base automatically. But just for the purposes of this, I'm going to put retrieve. Why is this cool? Because I'm going to build a Jack GPT for my community, which then basically means that when I upload a video, it will get uploaded to a document, then it will add to my knowledge base, and I won't even need to touch a single thing. All I do is upload to YouTube, and my knowledge base continues to expand, which I think is really cool and really awesome. So we've got retrieve here. I'm just going to say, look, just retrieve for me the last 12. Now, in reality, I would do all of them if I was doing this, but I just want to show you specifically how it works. If I say 12, I click OK. I'm going to right click and run this module only. Look at this, guys. It's got all these beautiful outputs. It tells me the title, the description. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a module that comes from my community, which is when you reach level 6 my community, you unlock this really cool thing in the dark arts, which basically is a really simple module. And all we ever have to do here, if I just put let's have like dark arts YouTube transcript, and I say transcribe raw, for example, enter webpage URL, I come over here and I just say, yeah, let's go for this one, hit OK. And if, for example, if I just limit this down to 5, click OK, run this one once, and what this will do automatically for us, an autopilot is come down, grab, and then just give us the entire transcript from my YouTube video in a really simple way. One of the reasons we built this in the community, by the way, is just because a lot of people really wanted it's unmapping, I think, actually, transcript. An easy way to get YouTube transcripts, which is why we built it, and it's like literally click and play, and that's just part of the community. But don't worry, I'm also going to show you how you can build this with websites. This is just a for instance if you wanted to do YouTube. All right, cool. So we've got the RSS feeds. We've got this really cool module that's just going to get the transcript for us automatically, and there's ways you can work around that if you want to with Python and things. So what do we need to do next? Well, look, if I come back over here, we've got this cleanser prompt here. Now, when you're thinking about this automation, what I want you to really bear in mind is the fact that most of the genius of it is going to sit here in the cleansing stage. So you may find when you build this, you actually spend a couple of hours, maybe days, working on this cleansing prompt. And sometimes it'll be different based on the input you get, but really spend time developing this. I've built, I'd say, a fairly basic example here. Just as a for instance, the purpose of this isn't to give you the all bells and whistles. Otherwise, this video could be 17 hours long. The purpose of this is to show you exactly where it's important to invest it and how you build this whole thing end to end so you can fly and take over the world. So I come to this cleanse prompt. So check this out, for example. This is what I gave it. You're a data cleansing assistant tasked with refining YouTube video transcripts. Obviously, if you've got different content, tell it that. Your goal is to enhance the transcript's quality by removing unnecessary content while preserving the core message, important details, and all step-by-step instructions. I feed it YouTube video URL and I give it the mapping transcript. The reason I'm giving it YouTube video URL is because I also, in this chatbot I create, want the actual chatbot to say, I mean, imagine you're on a website and you say, look, I want to buy some leather shoes. Well, I don't know why I'd buy leather shoes, but you know what I mean? Whatever it is, it can say, look, here's the URL, go grab it. So it also takes the part of an indexer as well as a chatbot responder, which I think is like another level and very helpful. Tasks to perform. Reference inclusion. Start by acknowledging the YouTube video URL main context, break the information into comprehensive step-by-step process, then provide a long detailed list of additional information. There should be no question that your output could not answer without the initial transcript, you are admitting fluff only, all right? So we've got this cleanser. In reality, your cleanser prompt will be a lot longer than that, and you'll be really specific, and don't be afraid to keep redoing this step until it gives you output, so you say, do you know what? That has actually caught the essence of what I'm talking about. So let me come back over here, and once I've done this one, I'll show you how you do it with websites as well. So we come here, we're gonna click on, it could be ChatGPT, it could be Claude, take your fancy, whatever you pick. Max tokens, we'll just do 4,000 for argument's sake. Add a message, role is gonna be user, content type is gonna be text. I come down and I enter this beautiful text. I'm gonna come over here, get rid of this, come down, let's find out here. So YouTube URL in this case is gonna be, where are we at with that? We can grab that from the video, and then we've got the transcript. So for the transcript, we're gonna go down for the output here, which is transcript. Awesome, and then it's got task to perform, then we click OK. Now the next thing we want to do, guys, is, in fact, let me just rename this cleanse, because guys, we are nothing without our formalities. Let's get this sorted. Look, scrub and brush there as well, and we click cleanse. Cool. Now what we want to do, guys, and this is where the magic really happens, is we're going to upload this to a folder, and this folder is like, it's like the repository for all our data. So the next thing you need to do is head over to Google Drive. And guys, once you've created that in Google Drive, what I want you to do is come down here, click on share, and click on share here. And crucially, what we need to do, instead of restricted, just put anybody with the link. And then what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to click on done. Beautiful. Now we're going to come back over to our automation. Okay, we're going to click on add new module, and then we're going to put here create doc, Google Docs. We're going to put create a document, which is really cool. The name of it, in this case, if you're doing YouTube videos, it's just going to be the title of the actual YouTube video itself, and then the content is just going to be the text response from Claude, and then we need to pick the document location. And I've selected Jack's YouTube, then I click OK. Now check this out, guys. I'm going to come back down here and just make this a 1, for example, click OK. Now we're going to run this all together once, and then we should see the document magically appear in the Google Drive. So we run this module once, RSS grabs it, the dark arts YouTube transcribers just create the transcript for us from the video, and then Claude is working its magic to cleanse that into some different text for us. Because think about like how much irrelevant information we've got in the transcript here. There's probably bits where I talk about like all sorts of things like Springer Spaniels and coffee, and maybe you say, Jack, do you know what? I think that is relevant, and you probably would have a point. So we've got this cleansing module here, and this is just best practices. There's like loads of things you can do. You can also strip out sensitive data if you're working for a client. So for example, maybe you've got private case studies, maybe it has profanity, just stuff that you don't want the language, the AI to actually know or isn't relevant for it to know. Now that's completed, if I come over to the folder, and as you can see in the folder, it has appeared. I can open it up, for example, and then we've got all the key content from that particular output, which I think is very, very, very cool, including the YouTube video URL. Now, let me show you the other way that you would do this if you wanted to do it with websites instead. So to do this one, we're now going to head over to the wonderful, the beautiful. Oh, by the way, I've got this RAG chatbot PDF with like 50 different ideas. If you want that, it's for free, download the description if you want to grab that. Because you may be thinking, Jack, how do I turn this into something with a lot of money? Again, I've included a lot of it here. So, okay, we're going to head over to appify.com. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to see a page like this. Appify is the Willy Wonka emporiums of scrapers. And what Appify is going to do for us very kindly is scrape any website we want. You name it, it will go ahead and do its beautiful stuff. So I'm going to come on the left-hand side over here to actors. Now, you'll get $5 free credits to do this, so it's a pretty cool thing. Now, you're going to search by actor name for this website content crawler, okay? Which is really cool. And then I want you to click on this create a task button at the top right. Now, we could automate this process as well, and we could keep automating it until you just wake up and it runs, but I'll show you this bit as a manual thing. So have the website that you want to do. So all you would ever have to do is come to this web page and type the website in. Now, what you would do, and we can automate this, but I'm just showing you for simplicity's sake how this works, okay? Now, we come over to this scenario here. What you would do, in fact, what I'm going to do for you here is I'm going to remove this. I delete this guy. I'm going to delete this guy. And then instead of cleanse, I'm going to change this text from YouTube. I'm just going to say to documents, okay? Beautiful. Now check this out. What do we do instead? Let me unlink this. So you would change the cleanse prompt. You click on this, you'd go for Appify, like so. And what you're going to do for that is add watch actor runs, like so. Click on add. It'll add my Appify connection. Click on the actor, and then just type in website content crawler like that and click save and give that a beautiful second. And then we click OK. Then add another module, click on Appify like this. And then we're going to click on Get Dataset Items. And then you see this dataset ID. Check this out, guys. Come down and select Default Dataset ID. Then click OK. Now be careful of this limit. If it's more than 100 pages, increase it as much as you want. So I'll just put 100,000 or whatever and click OK. Awesome. Now check this out. I'm going to run this module. Now, this would be the alternative. Now check this out, guys. If I go over to this website scraper and I said, you know what, dude, I want you to go ahead and scrape Meg.com, which is our no-code automation platform. I click on Start. What will this do? Well, it'll just run in the background for us and start to scrape all the information from Meg.com, which I think is pretty cool, actually, right? And it does this for any website. So a good example of this could be like, I don't know, if you want to build a chatbot for a particular website, we can say, well, bro, like, we understand, this understands all the content on your website, and we can reliably ask it any question about anything on your website with this new Retrieval Augmented Generation system. So this is now beginning the process. The actor's getting the data, and I'll give that a second, and then I'll show you exactly how that works. Okay, so this has done about 13 results, and these are the pages it's done. I'm going to abort this and stop it. So the actor runs aborted. In reality, that would run all the way through. You can also, if you want to, guys, add some different aspects to this. You come down with the crawler settings, how deep you want to go, pages, cookies, if it's something that requires cookies, blah, blah, blah. You can specify all of that. But look, I come back over now to this website and check this out, guys. The actor run, it's picked up at its run. And then this guy says, hey, let me see everything you pull back and let's take a look. Look at this. Bundle, these are all pages. So let's go for bundle 7, lucky number 7. 7's actually become my lucky number because that's what I got in the school games. And I think 7's a very, very cool number. Guys, look at this. This is all the text from that web page. So automate inventory management. Well, let's test that, Jack. Should we test it? Let's test it. Let's test if we're right. Inventory management. Your agility advantage. Can I find the words your agility advantage in this? Yes. Cool. Now, guys, we have all the text from the website. So this would run. This could do hundreds, thousands of pages. And then we would cleanse them. Scrub-a-dub-dub with Claudia Boy over here. And then they get this cool document. And then everything gets added to this. And that's how we've basically got an entire website into like condensed, relevant data into a folder. And once we've done that, we can do anything we want on this planet. I've just decided, because of my coffee this morning, we're going to do chatbots, but it could be anything you want. So that's basically the whole first part of the automation. So just decide whether you want to do websites or YouTube, or maybe you got your own data. If you've got your own data, the way that you would do this is you would upload it to Google Drive. You'd have a module that looks for it. Then we would cleanse it and then add it to a new folder. So that way, all you're doing is uploading. It comes into the scenario, we wash it, and then we add it to a new one. Remember, spend some time on this washing step to make sure it's at the right level for you. Awesome. Now that's done, what on earth do we need to do next? Well, we entered this scenario here now. Now this one's all about upserting the vector, which sounds really funky and really crazy. So we're going to start with Google Drive, which is going to watch when something gets added to that folder, and then we're going to download it, and then we're going to convert that folder. Because basically we're downloading the file, then we want to convert it into text. And we need the text in the scenario because that's how we're going to create an embedding. And then that's how we actually upsert it to this thing called Pinecone. So let's do the first 3, and then I'll introduce you to Pinecone in as simple way as I possibly can. And the really cool thing is I just wanted to make this as simple as humanly possible. So let me come over here to what we'll call our second scenario. Let's realign this. Beautiful. And do we need to zoom out? I think we need to zoom out a tiny bit, right? Okay, cool. So this is step 1 is scrape and cleanse. This one is going to be upsert. Beautiful. All right. First thing we're going to do then is get Google Drive. Google Drive, beautiful. And the one we're going to choose here is watch files in the folder. This triggers when a file is created or modified in the folder. What does that mean? It means that if we change any text, we update the vector. That's very cool. Excellent. Now, what folder do you want to pick, Jack? I've got to verify my token. Okay, I think I've verified it. It's come back. Dude, it's very touchy, Google Drive, for some reason. It really wants to make sure you are who you say you are. Some very, very crazy stuff. Now we're going to pick the folder we want to watch. Now, let's see if we can find that folder. There we go. Jack YouTube. I love it. Maximum results we worked during one execution cycle. We don't really mind. We'll go for 100 with that. Files types to watch all. You can specify whether you want to be docs, spreadsheets, blah, blah, blah. We're just going to put all for the sake of it. Then we're going to click OK. So now check this out. I'm going to run this one once. Nothing happens. Now check this out. I'm going to come back over here. I am going to, what I'm going to do very briefly, just for simplicity's sake, is re-add the others back in. Now guys, I've just added in the RSS and YouTube transcriber just to save us the time of basically scraping entirety of make every time I want to show what this looks like. So I've just pulled down one video, for example. Now what's going to happen? This is going to add a video to this. Let me delete this one, get this one out of here, get that to the trash. I'm going to refresh it. Yes, reload the site's cool. And we should see a document here in a moment. Let me come back. Right, if I come back to automation, right over here, we're cleansing the prompt. Now, I'm doing this so that I can show you what it looks like. Check this out, right? Google Docs creating a document. This is coming through. Beautiful. Doing excellent work. And it should appear magically in this document. It does. So now if I come over to our new scenario, which is this one here, and I click on watch files in a folder, it's now picked up. It said, hey, something's happened and a new folder has emerged. So the next thing we want to do is we want to get the text from that into the scenario. And there's two ways we do, well, there's two bits we need to do. The first one is come here, we click on Google Drive, download a file. What file are we downloading? Well, we're just simply going to download the file ID here, like that. Awesome. And then we're going to use a really cool tool called Dumpling AI, which will let us take a document and extract the text. Its function in this scenario basically lets us get the file into language. Once the language is in the scenario, we can then start to do all sorts of wonderful things with them. So we come here, click on beautiful Dumpling AI. And then once we've got this section up here, guys, we're going to click on base 64 just to make sure this thing doesn't get corrupted. So let's find out where base 64 is. It's down here. And then in between the arrows, you want to click there. And then we want to add in the data from download. Actually, it's not data there, I believe. It is actually that bit, I think. It's tough to see without having seen it. We click data there. And then we click OK. We come down, we're going to click OK. And then we're just going to run this one more time. This is what that looks like. Nothing's happened. So what we should be able to do now, if we wish, is to come over, click on this, and say, hey, now that's changed. If I run this one again, we should be able to see it properly. Let's run the scenario once. It looks like this one fell, guys, because I didn't select. It was base 64. Oh my goodness. You can also give URLs if you have access to that. So let's run this one more time. Here we go. And has it completed? Do we have text? We do. Beautiful. And we got all the beautiful text from our phenomenal upload, which is excellent. Ace. And I'd also really love to give a shout out for a YouTube channel I found called AI Automators that were really helpful in translating certain parts of this. So I want to give those guys a lot of credit because they're awesome. If you haven't followed them, go and check them out. They're really cool guys. One of the cool things they share in the video actually is if we have a document, say with emojis or really particular things, we're not going to be able to vectorize that as easily. So there's actually this really cool tool section that they share that you can add, and it's such a good hack. So massive thanks to those guys for sharing that. Well, we can add all of this code, which basically means it kind of like sanitizes the text. So if it's got emojis or something crazy in it, we'll then be able to have a really standard thing that we can then send over to Pinecone. So I'll put this over here. So all we're going to do, guys, is we're going to come over here to this part. We're going to tools. We're going to set multiple variables. Let's remove this guy, bring it over. There's a lot of, this is probably the most like unglorious bit. And when it says text here, just get rid of this and add the text from Dumpling like so. This is probably the most unglorious aspect, I think, of building really cool automations like this is the sanitization and the cleansing of it. So huge thanks to those guys for this find. Really phenomenally, very helpful. And then we're going to click OK. Incredible. Now, guys, what do we do next? Well, check this out. We're now going to create an embedding, okay, and then we're going to upsert that into Pinecone. So what on earth is an embedding? So if you check this out, let me just explain what's going on here, okay? So we have this thing here. We've got the model, which is a really typical model. It's small. The reason we're using small is because we're not going to need something particularly larger. They have various different sizes. I can show you the OpenAI page if you like. This one is small, and it's helpful for the kind of things that we're doing at our size. If it was significantly larger, we can select the model. So then what we do, guys, is we come down here. We're going to click on to ChatGPT. We're going to do API, like so. Make an API call. And the method is going to be post. The URL we're going to use is this, which is /v1/embeddings. Content type is application JSON. And then in the query string body, guys, what we're going to come down is enter this, and we're going to give it the output from tool section right here, as you can see, right? Boom. Incredible. And we're going to come down, and that's perfect. And then we click OK. In fact, let me just make sure that is perfect, which it is. Ace. Then we click done. And then we're going to rename this one embeddings with some eyes, which we would, in fact, it's more technical. So let's give it like the gamers, which I think is really cool. Embeddings. Oh my goodness. Can you believe that just disappeared? Okay, embeddings. Awesome. And now, guys, what we need to do is go over to Pinecone and get signed up. So what on earth is Pinecone and how does that work? Well, let me show you a new tab. So you see a page that looks something like this. The first thing we need to do is to sign up, or if you've got an account, just head over and log in. And when you log in, you'll see this thing here, and you'll have these things called indexes. Now, indexes are like your projects. So this is one that I did earlier called Homozy. Why is it called Homozy? It's about YouTube videos. I have no idea. And you can have sample ones. So what I'm going to do is just delete this index name, move his walkthrough. Let's just delete this guy. I don't know why we've got him. We'll just delete him. That's like one of the sample ones, terminating, removing. So let's create a new index together, okay? So come over here, click on create index, and we'll call this one Jack YouTube, all one word together. And then in configuration, we're gonna click on setup by model, and let's go for text embedding 3 small. That's the number of dimension. We've got that. Come down, select configuration, which is cool. That's fine, that's fine. And then we click on create index, which is loading in the background. It's initializing, and then it's going to be ready for us to start creating vectors and sending the information over here. So the first one to do, guys, is add in Pinecone. So come down here, type in Pinecone like so, and click on Upsert Vector. Upsert just means either update or insert. Now, when you create a new connection with Pinecone, in fact, what I'm going to do is actually add a new one just so you can see. And guys, you can see where it says index name. This caused me a lot of trouble actually. Basically, copy this, come back over, enter it. What you're going to do is get rid of the HTTPS / get rid of that. And then you enter an API key. Your API keys are down here in the bottom left like so. Come down, let's just copy this Homozy one. I come back over to the scenario. I enter it in. So we get rid of the HTTPS. I'm going to come back over, and then we're also going to get rid of the .pinecone.io, and then we'll click save. And then we have miraculously created a new connection. Honestly, the amount of time I spent troubleshooting that because I didn't get rid of a .pinecone.io, I should have just read what it said, right? That would have been a lot easier. So we got vector ID. Let's give it a unique vector ID. For that, I propose we just give it the name of the article from Google Drive. Now, in terms of values, I suggest we give it the output from the embeddings, which is right here, but we don't have that yet. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to come back off. I'm going to unlink. I'm going to save. I'm going to run this module once. Nothing's happened, so let me just send the data over. Okay, so we run this one again. Google Drive sees the folder, sees the file, we've downloaded it. Dumpling's done it. We've got the variables, and then we've created these cool embeddings. Let's check it out, what that looks like. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at all this data. One sec. There we go. All this data. So as you can see, the model we chose was how many? Look at the number. This is absolutely ridiculous. 1,536. So basically, based on these different criteria, I suppose, everything's got a very unique number, and that's basically how it kind of vectorizes it. And again, it's turned the document into an embedding, and then when we ask it a question, we also turn that into an embedding, and it's just a really weird way of AI's way of identifying what on earth this thing's talking about. Now what we want to say is, look, Pinecone, we need an identifier so that you and I can say, what is it talking about, right? Which for us, if you come down here, is here. For example, right, title, how to build an AI SaaS, and the content. And then basically, we need to actually give it the actual information itself. So come over here, Upsert Vector, click on value, and what is the thing we're looking for? Let's just come down there and find it. So we go down to data, come down to, there we go, body data embedding, incredible. And then for the metadata, which is going to be our way of identifying what this thing is about, let's come down, add item, let's go over here. So we'll do contents, type is going to be string, and then this is basically like, we can include here the actual content of the thing that we're including. So we come back over, let's go have a quick look. Beautiful, and we'll add another one here. And in this one, we'll call this one title of the document. Type is going to be string, come down, value, and then we'll add this one. Where on earth are we at with this? So what do we do next, guys? We've got all this beautiful stuff, and we're pretty much sorted. We don't need to worry about namespace just for the moment. So we run this one again. Okay, Google Drive sees files in a folder, we download it, and just like that, guys, it's fully completed. And a little thing I just want to point out as well is on the values, make sure that you have the map selected rather than deselected, so it'll pull through everything. Now check out this out. If I come back over then, I come back over to database, I check out Jack YouTube, and would you believe, guys, almost by magic, this vector has appeared in Pinecone. And then we can just add as many of these as we want to, obviously within the limits of Pinecone, which would be quite significant. And we have all the text with the title, and we've got all these values. And just because I'm curious, let's just see what these values look like. And I've got a Word document here, I enter them in, and it is 1,536 words. This is how, I think that's actually longer than the document itself, but this is how it makes sense of our information. Cool. So what do we do now? Well, now we do the moment of truth, which is basically we racked it with loads of data to build out this entire thing here. So let's just delete this one here, come back over to Vector, and then we'll just run the entire automation for the first 2 sections, which is uploading the data and then getting everything to Pinecone ready for us. And then finally, we're going to do the final section, which is how we actually search it and add the chatbot onto this video. So let's come over to our first scenario here. And let's say we're going to do, let's do the last 15 videos of mine. Click OK, then click run once. Beautiful. So RSS is going to retrieve the items. We're scraping it, cleansing it. And then one by one, this will start to add into this document. And then once we have those documents uploaded to a file, we'll then run the second part of the automation. Again, but this would be running automatically in the background when we run it. So get the folder, Google Drive, Dumpling Tools, Embeddings, upload to Pinecone. And guys, in Vector ID, instead of name, give it the file ID instead. Click OK and then rerun this. As we can see, all this now is flowing in. So we come over here and we check out how many matches we've got. What do we see? We should see a couple that are starting to flow in, which would be excellent. Let's have a quick look. We've got 6 matches. Beautiful. Look at all this beautiful data coming, guys. Phenomenal. Come back over to the scenario. This will finish. Obviously, we're just doing this for many as I did, but in reality, it could be as many as you essentially like, based on how many documents that you uploaded. Now that's all complete and uploaded to the Vector database. The last part of the automation is this one here, which is the chatbot with the custom webhook, Captain Search, embedding. So how does this all work? Well, look, here's how we actually start this one off. Okay, I want you to come over to a website called Card. Now, you don't have to use Card. This is just how I'm building the interface. We're going to go to dashboard. I've got lots of different examples here. One that I built earlier, and by the way, if you need Card, choose a starting point. Loads and loads and loads of different things that you can potentially choose from. So look, let me refresh this one over here and show you the one that I chose. So let me come back to the dashboard and we'll have a good look. Chat with Jack. Awesome. Obviously, it's very modular. You can bring things over. You can add images, links. I've had a photo of me there, chat with Jack, and you've got this code right here, okay? So how does this work? The first thing we want to do in our new scenario, okay, so let's go and create a brand new scenario over here, which is query and respond, which is awesome. We're going to add in a webhook, okay? Create a custom webhook, and we want a custom webhook there. Beautiful. Add a new webhook. Don't worry about that. Click on save, and then copy the address to clipboard. And then what we'll do is we come back over then to this. We're going to Control F, EU2. Obviously, just get the URL and just substitute that webhook for your webhook, which means instead of that scenario, it's going to go ahead and call this scenario. And then build out this website exactly as you like. And when it's ready to go, all you then do is click save, publish changes, like so. And we give this a moment, click OK, and then we open into a new tab. Cool, so we load the website, and I've added a passkey just for protection, which means that only people with the passkey can use it. But just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to put it as empty. And then we can do questions like, look, I can say test. I come back over to our brand new scenario. I'm going to run this one once. And let's go over here and see what we're dealing with. Oops, it is this video here. Click on test, and it should come back accepted. What does that mean? It means it's brought through the text and the passkey. Now, if I come back over, and let's say I want to add a passkey to protect it, and I call this one protect, I save settings. Look, and I run this one again. What I can do, if I just say, yo, right, check this out, is it will bring back a passkey. So when I add a new module, I can say, hey, if the passkey does not equal this secret text that I've got, do not allow the message to proceed, which means that only people who you've given the passkey for would ever actually be able to use this chatbot effectively and utilize your credits or whatever you're looking at. So what's the first thing we want to do? We've got this thing here called Captain Search. So Captain Search's job is to take the query from the user and basically turn it into something that we can then create an embedding with, because some of what they say may not be relevant. We just want to get to the core of what it is they're talking about. So let's check out exactly the kind of prompt that we may wish to use. And again, this searching prompt, put some time into this, perfect this, finesse this. You'll be given a question from a user about our company. You will convert this message into a query. Propose an effective search term that accurately reflects the key topics based on the given input. Please provide in a JSON format as shown below. And we have a curly bracket to search term. And then we have some guidelines about ensuring the term is concise, key phrases, industry-specific terminology, and then to give it an example of what that could be, like AI automation language, making money, and then we give it the question. Awesome. So all the job of this one is doing, guys, is basically just translating the user's query into something really specific that we can then search our database for. So come down here and click on create a completion, like so. Max tokens will be 0. Model will be GPT-4o, and a message. Role will be system, not system. We'll just simply do user for this, message content for simplicity, and then we give it the question here is going to be yo. Excellent, amazing, and then we'll call this one Captain Question. Why Captain Question? I have no idea, but we like it. And we'll put a guy with his hands up in the air there. Brilliant. So once we've got Captain Question, what's the next thing we need to do? Well, we need to do the embeddings again. So let's go copy that from our previous scenario. And we'll just copy this guy. And then we'll come straight back over, paste him in. Connect Mr. Embeddings. We click this one here. Let's have a quick look. And instead of the input, we're just going to give it the input from Captain Questions right there. Beautiful, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Cool guys, and with that, let's just save this scenario and test it one time. Okay, so we're going to run this module once, come back over to our question. I'll say, hey, which languages can I do with AI automations language translator scenario? Does it make sense? No, it doesn't, but it doesn't need to make sense just yet. We'll come back over, that's translated, and we'll come back to embeddings in just a moment and check out Captain Question. What have we got? AI automation language translator supported languages. Now, this has failed because I did all this gobbledygook at the bottom. So let me just come down here at the bottom and add advanced settings and make sure its response format is supposed to be JSON object, parse JSON, yes, come down, click OK. Just make sure that this is correctly identified. Beautiful. Okay, let me run this one more time. I'm going to come back over. Hit enter. And we come back over. And would you believe it? The embeddings have been created, and you can see now it has all the beautiful stuff. If I come down to body collection, usage, data, oh my gosh, and the embedding is all there. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now what we want to do, we basically want to query a vector off the back of that, right? So we're going to come here, click on Pinecone, query vector. So this is going to pull back the most relevant pieces of data based on our question. Then we're going to come over here. All right, cool. So we're going to come here. We're going to add on vector. We're going to click on map. Click here. Bring this one over. And let's go find where the vectors are. One moment. Let's find out where we're at with this. Embedding. Add all those ones in there. Incredible. And then when we scroll down, guys, we're going to include the metadata. And we can set the limit of how many different vectors do we want to bring back. That, that's going to be dependent on your use case. For me, like, they're probably only really going to ask questions about a video, and you may want to know something about multiple videos. So I would say 3 is reasonable, but let's say you've got a database of 1,000 articles. You may say 10, you may say more. So this will be purely based on what you think. So this is saying, how many drawers do you want me to pull out to check for the data? So that'll be, you just have to feel that based on the data that you've got. And then we're going to go ahead and click okay, so let's run this one again, run this module once, come back over, and we're nearing the end of this one actually, guys, because this is really exciting. Check this one out, accept it, I come back, boom, boom, done. So if I come here and look at the results, guys, we can come down, you can see it's pulled back 3 bundles, which is phenomenal. If I click out one, for example, come down to metadata, content, and then we've got loads of information there. Incredible. Now, problem is, of course, it comes in bundles, so let's add an array aggregator to this. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. And what data do we want? Source module is going to be Pinecone. Phenomenal. Let's get the ID, and let's also get the, I believe it's values. It's come under here, is it? Yeah, values. No, it's going to be metadata, title, and we want the content, right? So let's come down and get that. And we want the metadata. Phenomenal. We come back here again. Let's run this. In fact, before we do that, actually, yeah, let's run this one more time. Come back over. Set question. Hit enter. Come back over here. This is running through beautifully. Phenomenal. And as you can see, we've got all the bundles that come down, and then we want to take it away from bundles. So to do that, there's a couple ways we can do that. I am going to use an iterator like so. And the array is going to come down here, and we're just going to say, look, video 1. And I'm going to come down to metadata. I'm going to say title, content, 1, 1. And then come down here. Do the same thing here, and obviously for as many as you've got, you can put as many as you like. Three. Cool, beautiful. And then if I run this one more time, this should bring all that data together into one simple thing. Whoops, that's not a good idea. That's not going to give me anything. I will come back and see what it's done. But in any case, has it pulled back some stuff? Yes. Okay, cool. Beautiful. All right. But in any case, if we come back, you can see it has actually brought all the stuff together, which is really cool. Ace. And then, guys, the final thing we want to do now is give it this final brain module at the end, which is the responder. The responder's job is to basically take the specific data draws that we've got back and craft a response for the user. And for that, we basically say, hey, based on the below data, what is the answer to this question? Keep your response 250 words or less. You are a helpful chatbot, and you will provide a URL to a video resource if you mention it, if user asks once. Now, this is another area where you would go down and make sure that the content is really impressive. Click OK, and then we're going to send the webhook response back. And then this entire automation is complete. So check this out. I come here, I go for ChatGPT. Let's come down. Let's go for create a completion. Beautiful. Max tokens is going to be 0. Model is GPT-4o system. Message, role, user, message content, come down. And then let's just give it the question as well, just so it has the context of what it's saying. So the question was given here on the webhook, and the data itself is going to be all of the information from the iterator. And you can see that pulsing on the left. We click OK. And again, we'll name this one responder because we're not crazy savages. Phenomenal. And then we're going to add webhook response, and then output from that is simply result from responder. Click OK, and then we are going to run this module once, and then let's ask it a question that only something that's watched my YouTube videos would understand. So if I said something like, what is the best video of Jax to watch if I wanted to translate my videos into another language? Hit enter. Give that a moment. Now check, I come back over here. It's ripping through. It's creating the vectors. Now you can imagine I had 100,000 here. It's only going to pull back the most relevant ones. Whenever I come back over, based on provided data, the best video of Jax for watching translate your videos into language is one outlined in Article 1. The video is titled blah, blah, blah. You can access the video here. It's giving me 2 links, so we need to clean that up. But now I open it up, and this should be the video we need. And that's the entire automation. If you haven't seen this video on screen, go check it out. In any case, have a great week, and I'll see you in my next video.